The First Amendment gives you as citizens the freedom of speech, religion, press, assembly, and petition. The freedom of speech gives you the freedom to say whatever you want within reason. The freedom of religion gives you the right to practice and believe in any religion. The freedom of press gives you the right to express your opinion through printed materials without government restrictions. The freedom of assembly gives you the right to come together for any reason. The freedom of petition gives you the right to petition the government if you are unhappy with any of the decisions made. The First Amendment is a part of the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights was passed in addition to the Constitution because the Anti-Federalists felt that the Constitution was not protective enough of their personal freedoms. In order for them to support the ratification of the Constitution, they demanded that the Bill of Rights be added. Today, there are still many debates over the freedoms given to you by the First Amendment. For example, does the freedom of religion protect the Kentucky clerk from handing out marriage licenses to same-sex couples if it goes against her beliefs? Does the freedom of assembly protect dangerous and threatening groups and allow them to meet? Every day, the government defines the boundaries of the First Amendment more and more. Without the First Amendment, we would not be protected from the government at all, and we would live in a much more restricted society. Our country might even be much smaller because many Americans would have fled the country, where their rights would be more secure. The 19th Amendment, as stated in the Constitution, is the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. In short terms, it granted women's suffrage or the right to vote. The fight for women's suffrage lasted over 70 years, starting in New York in 1848 during the Seneca Falls Women's Rights Convention. As America was depending more and more on industrial materials, a new class of women with time on their hands to focus on political and social issues rose up. However, the fight for the right to vote didn't come easily. The campaign was seen as silly because during that time, it was thought that women were too fragile to be able to understand and deal with politics. Even Congress didn't want to do with the amendment. In January 1878, the Voting Rights Amendment was first introduced into Congress. It wasn't fully considered until 1887, where it was quickly defeated. The amendment wasn't considered again until January in 1918 in the House of Representatives, where the vote was pushed back and defeated in October 1918, and then again in February 1919. In June 1919, the Senate finally passed the amendment, which started the final push that the suffragists needed. In August 1920, in Tennessee, became the first state the last state needed to ratify the enactment, and on the 18th, the amendment was passed. Without this amendment, the civilian populace would be much more chaotic because our political system would not be accurately represented. Both of these amendments contributed greatly to our society, and without them, America would not be where it is today. Next time you state your opinion, read a newspaper, or register to vote, think about where this country would be without the First and the 19th Amendment.